God, because listeners are always already coming on to Mixler. Hi, Mixler. Sorry, I kind of fucked up the video, and I didn't even hit the record button on recording, so I couldn't even say we're recording. Is that a little hot? That's a little hot. I've had this fucking studio for over a year, and you'd think I'd get everything just set and done and dialed, but no. Holy shit. Welcome to the Packfiller. I'm Pat Bulger. Small cast of characters tonight, just like yesterday's ride, if you actually were paying attention, if you were on the ride. But you weren't on the ride because it was just me and my in-studio friend here suffering miserably. He wasn't suffering miserably, but I'll get to that later. In studio with me, Paul Main, or Captain Tempo, as I'm going to call him after attempting to hold on for 4 hours in our preseason ride yesterday. Hi, Paul.
Hi, how you doing? And I got an answer why you think you'd have this all figured out, your studio. But you keep buying new gadgets. Every time I turn around, there's more gadgets. And you got one that's for Peru-Roubaix, and I'm excited to see that.
That's actually really fucking true. Someday,
every time I turn around, it's like there's less room for my beer here.
Someday I should make a little bit money at this so I can actually pay everything off.
Yeah, but then it takes the fun out. You know.
Yeah. If I were making a living at this, it would become a career.
Yeah, and then it's a drag. You know, you're not supposed to like your work. You know, gotta go to work.
Fuck. All the way downstairs.
Yeah.
Hey, dude, I'm gonna get to that point immediately and talk about the fact that we went on a 60 miler yesterday, which should have only taken probably about three and a half. But to me, because of me, I'm saying 100% because of me, it took 4 hours. How are you feeling fitness-wise going into this season already?
I got a long ways to go. Intensity, I need to work on intensity, and that's I don't know. I got to lose a little bit of weight, and then intensity. I'm looking forward to some motor pacing with my wife.
What are you thinking in terms of weight? What is your fitness?
If I'm about 7 pounds above where I want to be.
7. Okay. Shit. Okay, I'm about. Well, the great thing is I make a point to weigh myself as soon as I came home from the ride.
That's
yesterday.
the best. You're dehydrated.
Oh, yeah, I was completely drained.
I didn't know why I didn't think of that. Then
so I only have 10 more pounds to go instead of probably like 14 or 15. It's like, fuck yeah, that ride had benefits. Marginal gains, motherfucker.
Jesus, 4 pounds a ride.
Oh, my God. I'm convinced.
That's a pound an hour you lost.
Follow my fitness plan. You can lose a pound an hour. You'll be dead in a month.
Yeah.
But I've got a load of work to do. I got a lot. And I said to you on the ride, it's probably a wonderful excuse, but I thought to myself, dude, you've been sick. I was on my back Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of last week. And I've also probably taken about 2.5 to 3 weeks off because of work and related stuff. So that's my excuse. And so it's really time to kick it in. And I think it's like that. You know, I did some planning. I did some organization of where I'm going to go and stuff like that. And I put together my first training block, so to speak. And so hopefully, God, I'll see something in.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you will, without a doubt.
6-7 weeks.
Yeah, consistency is a big thing.
Yeah.
You know, I think this is my 6th ride this year. So that was my 6th or 7th ride, yeah, outside.
Have you done anything that long yet this year?
No, that was the first long one.
Yeah.
I think the farthest I gone before was 80. Well, dude, in miles, about 53 miles, 54. Okay. So,
and this is, and I already said how I was going to maybe not talk about this on the show, but our fit and stuff like that. And how have you been feeling about that? You said you made a couple tweaks just to kind of.
Yeah, I talked to Sam about some of the things that he rotated the bars up a little bit.
Yeah.
And I rode, I think I had one day on Zwift I did, and then 3 rollers, and then I was able to go outside. And the outside, my back, the middle of my back was, which is strange. So I know it's probably arch in. And so I talked to Sam. I saw him at a gathering for the morning ride guys. And
okay.
And I said, I had to rotate that bar down, and I told him my situation. He says, yeah, that's why I marked him, because, you know, and I think you and I were talking about that. I think there is a little bit adjustment you need to do when it's on a trainer, and he could verify this. But when you get on the road, you really train's changing, and you're moving your body around more than on a trainer. It's
Yeah, and this was my first real road ride on the new position, and I was talking to you about it. He put a shim under my cleat. That felt great. I didn't feel anything, so that I'm assuming is feeling great. He rotated my bars. The only thing that really felt weird about that was when I was in the drops. Because I've got the bend bars, and I want just a straight curve bar again. I miss just that, because you can adjust accordingly.
Yeah.
But with bars that show you the flat part where you're supposed to be in the drops or something like that, because we're all fucking idiots, and when there's a bug in the room.
Well, it's springtime.
It must be. Yeah, that's it. But that felt really weird in the drops. It felt like my wrists were at a really bizarre angle. And I think I could obviously remedy that by just rotating the bars a little bit back down and just bringing the levers up.
Yep.
So I'm probably going to do that. He lowered the nose of my saddle and put on a lot shorter saddle. And I understand what that did. It rotated my back. It flattened my back out a little bit. And so I'm still kind of cool with that. I did swap out the saddle today just because I think that's my sit bones were not on the right spot of where that saddle was, and so I did switch out a new saddle today. So I'll
one
try
like mine.
Not as long as yours. I did get another Physique, but and no paid endorsement to Physique. But I think that'll work. I think it's going to be a better match for me a little bit. I don't need the long nose necessarily, so that'll be interesting. And I kept it nose down a little bit, but not as much. And I think Sam was like, "You got to baby step some of these switches."
Sure.
And so I did do that. I kept it a little bit nose down because yesterday I felt, and I was telling you about this, that my shoulders were getting sore, and I think that was honestly. Because, and you and I talked about this, 20, 30 years in the same position, there's going to be some growing pains here.
Oh, yeah.
And so I made a point to mark everything where he had said it, and I'm going to slowly start trying to get back to that. But I don't know if I was ready. And a 4-hour ride on a brand new position was probably a really dumb call, too.
Probably not the wisest.
Just kind of jumping off a limb there. That might not have been the best idea. But my hoods, I'm still feeling okay with those. They look a little weird, but I'm still feeling okay with those. The fore and aft of the saddle, I am 1,000% happy with what he decided to do with, because I don't know about you, I grew up thinking, slam your saddle back all the way. Back of the rails. If they're longer rails, great. You have more power, and my first couple rides on the trainer, I felt kind of my ass cheeks getting a little sore, but on the ride, I felt okay until I ran out of energy and stopped drinking.
Well, I was thinking about that slam seat, and Sam was talking about that 1980s style.
Yeah.
Do you remember Steve Bauer's bike that Eddie Merckx had to make for him? He went to a 67, 68 maybe it's even a 65.
It's an insane angle.
And Eddie Merckx didn't want to build that bike because he said it was, an abortion or something of that nature.
Abomination. An abortion.
It was an abortion.
It was a messed up looking. I remember the chain
he didn't
stays.
Win. Well, the chain slap on it because it had.
Oh yeah.
It had such a long. Yeah, the stays are long. The long chain. It was just dumb.
It was a long ass.
But it was that same thing. He wanted to get behind for the power over the when you're crushing on the cobbles.
Yeah.
And speaking about, I talked to Sam too. I moved my seat back just because I found myself like arched back. I mean, my pelvis was rotating under a little bit, so I pushed mine back.
I was the opposite. I finally got a flatter back.
Yeah, and so mine, I scooted back. He moved me, I think 2.5 centimeters forward. I went back.
Okay.
Just about a centimeter.
Oh, okay.
So it seems to help, and it's weird because of 30 plus years.
That's our problem. Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember making fun of like Sean Kelly looked like shit on the bike. He had power because his seat was so low, and I thought, why hasn't anybody ever changed him? This is back in the 80s. Why doesn't he look like
Yeah. Lamont.
Yeah, Lamont or whatever. Everybody else
was always really anal about his fit. I remember. Yeah.
Or Mosier. To me was perfect, good look on the bike. But they did. They worked on it, and he just would put it back. He says, "No, I can't do it."
So
I don't want to be a Sean Kelly.
Yeah.
I got to give it a shot.
Yeah, I gotta slow. I think we just kind of slowly adapt to it, and that's what Sam was saying. And for those of you who are thinking, "Oh my God, it didn't work out," that's bullshit. I think that you and I are going to slowly have to adapt to this after so many years on the bike in a probably incorrect position.
Absolutely.
And I think that once we kind of can slowly grow into that, it's going to be a lot more effective thing. I've had a lot of listeners. Well, a lot. I sounded like the president there. A lot of people. No, I've had several listeners actually talking to me about setting up a fit with them. So I mean, you guys, it's honestly, it made me think about it more than I have in a very long time, and I'm paying more attention to it. And I was messing with my gravel bike today, and my gravel bike's so much shorter than my road bike, and I'm thinking, okay, how am I going to fucking figure this out now? And and all these things. So I'm really actively thinking about it, and I recommend it highly to any cyclists out there, because you could find some stuff that has been messing with you. CP was talking about doing it the other day, and he gets like these violent cramps, know, that have been fucking him up. So I think that it could be a really good thing. So that was the really long version of an update on that sort of stuff.
Well, let me add one little thing too. With my seat crammed all the way back, I was getting pain on the top of my patella.
Yeah.
Since Sam adjusted me, although I moved a little bit back, I've had no knee pain whatsoever. So, and that's getting behind that Steve Bauer action that I was doing.
Yeah.
So
we could, we could do in our 20s. But bodies are like, fuck.
My knees are screaming.
You can hear them creaking. Yeah, exactly.
And it has nothing to do with me pushing big gears. It was all about my position.
You do. Do you? Is your little ring just there for ornamentation?
Yeah. No. I use it. I use it quite a bit. Like when I.
You're one of those straight block motherfuckers, kind of a thing.
I wish I could push a straight block. I still would.
I remember those days. 12, 18.
12, 18, yeah. Looks like a corn cob.
But you're always in a higher gear, a much bigger gear. And I always thought I was a gear basher, just horrible gear basher on the flats. But I'm looking over at you going, Jesus Christ, that inner ring is brand new. It's like it's never seen any ounce of chain grease.
It hits it once in a while. Yeah. Jesus. On that ride, I think. I don't know if I did use a small ring on a ride.
We did like over 2,000, no, like 20-some hundred feet of climbing.
Yeah,
I think
they're power climbs. That's why I like that course.
And the fucking wind was evil.
It was pretty strong.
Okay, good, because I was at some point I was just going, Jesus Christ, and that's when I looked at you and I did the old fashioned, dude, just go, because it's not a pride thing. I didn't want you to think it was a pride thing. Like I was feeling like dejected, like, oh fuck this sport, I'm gonna go throw my bike into the garbage dump like the kid from the Karate Kid movie. But no, I was like, I don't want to waste this guy's ride.
Now it's springtime. You don't leave people behind. I'm not springtime. It's early winter. Yeah. I mean late winter. You don't. We were out to go, but I like the wind and I get carried away, and that's what I did. And you can ask anybody who rides with me. It's like I do that, like half wheel and all that bullshit.
Like John Goodman from Raising Arizona. God damn it! You don't leave a man behind.
Yeah.
Oh man. So I know we tend to talk about this a lot, and we've probably hashed over it a lot before. But are there any new objectives on your horizon, or spring-based goals and activities?
Yeah. Now I can announce it that I took on a new job with the city as an electrical mechanical inspector, and it starts in March. So, and I let them know.
But that's a good thing.
It is a good thing, but financially,
yeah,
it's a big hit. And then not only that, so I get started. And a month later, I'm gone for 2 weeks to Belgium. So my plan of doing Tour de Bloom is probably, I don't want to say, hey, I'm going to be gone on Friday. And, so I got to get the feel of this new job before I start, packing out and doing races. I'm sure once the dust settles and I'm rolling,
that's kind of what's And I honestly need to find some races on the calendar, commit to them either financially or just I'm going to do this fucking race, because I'm sitting here and I'm in this gray area right now. And I find, I don't know about you, I find that if I'm like going, okay, I got this coming up, I got to get my shit together and really get focused for it. And I'm kind of floundering right now. And I think the spring tends to be where most of the races are. And then there's this huge empty gap in the middle of summer. And I miss the days when that wasn't the case. Well, but if you don't do spring, you're talking late summer, and then that's all, then it's over.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I gotta find some gigs.
I'm hoping that, like, that there's a group of humans meeting right now.
There are indeed.
We would like to attend, but this is at the wrong time. But about putting some races together. And some of the interesting thing is I've heard and seen on YouTube, like, different people doing these kind of rogue races. It's something they do on these back roads, and nobody has a problem with it. And I don't know how they pull it off. NorCal, there's a guy who has a YouTube channel. They do a crit that looks like in a industrial park I was telling you about. Then I just
tell the person who wasn't on our ride about something like that, though. What that's about.
What I noticed on YouTube, if you go to NorCal, and this is a group of guys that actually put on camps for new riders, and they help people advance into road racing. But most of their races are, or appears to be, crit racing. So
NorCal
on YouTube.
NorCal Cycling. Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay.
And they also have a podcast, and I listened to it a couple of times. It's pretty regional based. There's a few times they hit on other things, but the few episodes that I listened to. So, but yeah, it looks like there was one I was watching, and I realized there's parked cars on the side, and there's cars going on the opposite side of the road, going the different direction, and they just have this crit course, and one guy crashed, and you heard somebody scream neutral, and everybody stops racing. And are you okay, dude? Yep. And then that dude peeled out, and they started rolling out again. So I don't know. We sitting there. I'm thinking liability. I mean, if you, but what's different for that in a group ride?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. If they're classifying this isn't a race. There's not.
They blow through a stop sign on that course. Yeah.
Oh shit. But if there's no prize money at the line, there's none of that stuff.
Bragging rights. It's like our old breakfast ride.
Yeah.
What that became.
Yeah. So if you could, there's no organizing body. There's nothing like that. It's just a bunch of people on a group ride in definition.
Yeah.
You're probably okay. But it scares the shit out of me.
I wonder if you could do it this way. If you could say, you know what, I'm going to ride at this location every Tuesday.
Yeah.
You can join me or not. And then it becomes a race.
Yeah.
No one's in charge.
Yeah. When we were in Bend, there was I think they called it the Tuesday Night World Championships or something like that.
That's typical in a lot of They have them in Florida where they pull over people for running a stop sign and throw them in jail.
Yeah. Flashback to last week. If you're watching the video, that's right about where it cut out.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at their channel here, and they've got, it looks like a lot of POV video.
Yeah, they do. They do a lot of analysis of the head guy there, and he gets some guests in there, and they talk about what to do in crits, and it's actually, good. They're 10 to 15 minutes long. Good for a good, morning poo to watch
or shower.
Shower. You could do that. Yeah,
but that's kind of cool. No, and I'm sitting here thinking, God, it'd be kind of cool to say, hey, well, we have a friend who does the paper plate races. And that's, I think, a great idea. I always get terrified of going, okay, we're going to do a Packfiller group ride, and then all of a sudden, wait, if somebody crashes on it, gets hit by a car or something like that, is somebody going to come chasing down my ass?
They can't get blood out of a turnip, so don't worry about being sued.
Good point. Nothing from nothing is nothing. Yeah. You want my new GoPro?
Until you start making money, I think you're okay.
All right.
You see, you're going the other way. I'm just looking at these new GoPros and all this around here.
Oh yeah. So, well, you got to spend money to make money.
Yeah.
So I've done the first part. So okay, and I have some I've been looking on the calendar and stuff like that, and I honestly have to say that, was it last week where I was talking about some of these fondos? I hate the word fondo because it makes it feel like it's a group ride with a cookie, which in a lot of cases is what it is. But
because Garmin made it into that pretty much.
Yeah.
Phil Garmin.
Gaiman. Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
You know, with his ride and stuff like that.
Well, he's trying to keep it low key and not.
Yeah.
But
then you see some people who do fondos and, you know, they're fully clad in day glow and, you know, third eye and really hairy legs and shit like that. And I'm just going,
like
God.
Justin?
Yeah. Yeah. But he's fast. He's strong, fucker.
Yeah.
But so I find myself thinking this isn't a true race. This isn't a true definition of a bike race. And so I can't classify it. I can't call that a race I want to do on my calendar. And then I think you were the one who told me a couple weeks ago on the show that, dude, do you remember how insane you were at the Chafe Fondo, where I was all, I gotta go fast.
Exactly.
And I'm like, shit, maybe that is. That's not going to be my entire calendar, but maybe that could classify as some things that I do throughout here and there. You know, it's a 80-mile ride with 11,000 feet of climbing, and you know, and
you will
40
find a
miles of
group that
gravel.
in those things. You will find a group that will challenge you, and
Yeah.
there will be attacks and people going over the top of the hill. And
So I've got some of those. I don't want that to be my whole calendar,
No.
but I think it could be kind of cool. So we'll
fill in the gap.
Yeah. So, dude, topic switch. We're only 6 weeks away from our trip to the Holy Land. Racing has already begun, and quite interesting racings. I do have some headlines that we'll get to here in a bit.
Right on.
I do want to mention the fact that two things. Number one, the flag just came, the Packfiller flag. I'd show it. I could probably show it on the video. I mean, it's not like it's anything new. It's just the fucking logo. What camera are we on? Which one are we on? I'll hold it up like this.
Wait for it to go.
Camera gonna switch. There. Ah. There you go. So that's what it looks like, and that will be flying at Flanders and Roubaix.
That'd be great. Flanders, I mean, where we're going to be
hard for Flanders?
No, not at all. Somebody will deck you if you block their sight, but you know.
Fucking good point.
Yeah,
I don't want to do that.
Roubaix is a different thing because it won't be a problem at Roubaix. There's a little more spaced out, but we'll be on the Muir, and that's jam packed.
Okay.
So, yeah, but you can hang it down low. So if you know, because we're gonna get there really early.
Maybe I'll hold it for Roubaix.
No, you can hang it over the banners, or just like you and I will be right next to each other. So when they go by that one corner, there's a corner they always catch people by the hotel.
Okay.
And then
all right,
yeah, because there's the Luke Wante group.
Oh yeah, that guy.
Guy's around all over the place. So,
okay,
yeah.
So I'll just hang with him.
But we're not gonna chase the race.
No, shit, no.
No.
So I got that. I got the new GoPro, and I did have a little bone to pick with GoPro, but I'm not going to yell at them too much. I bought the new GoPro Max, which is a 360-degree camera, so I'm going to be able to get a lot of fun footage with that. And the cool thing is, as I burp, what a great way to introduce him. There's another one. God, that's a burpy IPA. My buddy John Galloway with Velocast, he and I have been chatting a little bit, and I don't know if anybody on the listening to the show saw it on our exchange on Twitter, but I think we're going to do a kind of a show in conjunction over there, which I think will be a lot of fun. And you and I can dismount or I'll be there, and we can all get on mics and talk about and do all that kind of stuff. So John's a great guy, and I love his show. And, oh yeah, absolutely. I braggingly say to my people, like, how's your podcast going? You know, it's going well. I'm going to be on the most popular cycling podcast in the world. They're like, well, you aren't that? Fuck no, I'm not that. But, you know, I'm going to be on this one, and he's the most popular one in the world. So I think that's going to be a lot of fun to work with John and the Velocast over there and actually meet him in person. So
yeah. Good Scotsman. Drink some good beer.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's what he's lined up. So we're gonna be doing that. As I look over, now that I move my mic, it's kind of weird. I have to kind of angle everything a little bit. And I had to fill last time while I was looking for which button actually is the news intro. And I'm still looking. There it is, that letter D. And the volume's low. let's get to the headlines, right? All right, everybody, put your money away. Headlines are here. Put your money away. The Move Mallorca has officially sold out every one of its 12 openings for $30,000 each. I'm pausing for effect on that one. $30,000 each. Individuals are paying to ride with George and Lance.
Have we determined they get to keep the bike?
We have not determined. And I think if you get to keep the bike, that's a big that's a gain though.
Yeah.
That's a gain cuz I know fucking dogmas are like 12 grand.
Yeah.
So but still that's you're talking 18 more just for the trip. So I know it makes me sound jealous, but I can't believe that there are 12 people out there willing to pay this much money for a week-long trip to do something like that. It's fucking insane in my mind.
It doesn't.
It doesn't bother you?
It doesn't. Surprise me. I mean, there is some people willing to do some strange things. I mean, even vote for a president. I just say.
Yeah.
It's takes all kinds, and
I did a little looking around, just to kind of do some comparisons. There are a lot of ex-pros doing rides like this, especially in Mallorca. Am I pronouncing it correctly? Mallorca. I found a trip for $645 American for a week with Sean Kelly.
Holy, who would you rather go with?
Yeah, I know. Fucking Sean Kelly. And I know.
Not 5 days, but 7 days, right?
This is 7 days, yeah. And I almost said no offense to Lance, but everybody who's listening to the show last week knows that I shouldn't say no offense to Lance because I basically came out saying some horrible things about Lance because I don't like what he's done. I don't like the guy. I don't think he's a cool person, and that's just my opinion. Don't sue me. But Sean Kelly, holy shit.
No kidding.
I mean, the guy's a legend.
Yeah.
And I don't know, so.
Easy, 600.
645.
You get to bring your own bike.
Yeah.
You
could do that, 15 times?
Yeah.
Or something like that. Yeah. And still.
It doesn't add up.
No.
I don't get it. But. Okay.
Well, if somebody who listens to this show is going on the trip, first of all, I'm surprised. Thanks for sticking around. Yeah. After last week, but if you're going on the trip, I'd love to hear some feedback on it.
Yeah.
I think that would have been a fun GoFundMe to try and raise $30,000 to send somebody on the trip who's not a big Lance fan.
Somebody said
and just be prick.
They would like to. I think it was even John Galloway.
Was it?
Yeah, they were talking about he and his partner in crime there, Scott. They were talking about. I think it was them. Like if they had the budget, like get David Walsh, Paul Kimmich, pay for all the list of all these journeys.
Betsy
journals that, all these. Yeah, that's just another one they said.
Shit.
And have them all show up and going, hey man,
we're riding with you for a week. Yeah. I wonder if Betsy would go. I don't think she would do it. I don't think she'd be the person. I mean, I don't even think she'd appreciate that joke anymore. I think she's past. She's way past that. Where she's like, no, I'm not fucking going. But I think it'd be fun to. Kimmich would go.
Yeah,
that guy's a smart ass.
David Walsh would too.
Walsh.
Yeah, that would be a good.
That would be an interesting one. All right, story number 2. Tom Dumoulin on the mend. Did you hear about this?
His intestinal thing?
Yeah, early season illness. His early season illness is behind him. I'm reading this directly from our friends at Cycling News, thanks to them, announcing on social media he's being treated for intestinal parasites.
That's not a good thing.
And already feeling better. Wow.
Where is he eating to get?
I think intestinal parasites, I think of two things. Number one, I think of the movie Alien. Where it's coming up through his gut, and number 2, I think of the back in the day when Laurent Fignon. Did you remember this one? He had to drop out of a tour one year because he had like a 6-foot tapeworm that they pulled out of his ass. Sorry, I'm not making fun of the dead because Laurent Fignon was a fucking.
He was alive then.
He was alive. He was alive. But intestinal parasites. Whoa!
I'm trying to think. It was either. I think did George Hincapie have that problem? or Tor Hushoff might have had. There's a couple of riders have had that problem before.
Just bad sushi or something like that.
Hey,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like
I went
our
to the
local
Spokane
store.
local sushi
we
place.
got a local place here that had video released of them actually making
Cooking
sushi
on the floor.
Yeah. Oh,
It was
Jesus.
on a pan and stuff, but it was on the floor.
But still, yeah,
Mhm.
they were setting it down there and kicking it with their feet and
Yeah, I
making sushi with it.
Did some
Yeah.
electrical in that.
Did you?
Yeah,
Come-
it was. I worked in food service and hotel work for 8 years, and it's like, I don't. This is not right.
Come to Spokane.
Yeah,
everybody.
well,
We,
This is not a slam, but these people, these people,
who are
the cooks in there did not speak a lick of English, not a lick.
really?
Yeah, they're. I
Yeah.
think they appeared to be fresh off the boat, and that's possibly in their culture. That's how they produce their food. So that's the only excuse.
okay.
That's what I'm thinking.
Oh, wow.
Also, the kitchen's about the size of about 3/4 the size of this room here.
They fired their whole staff
Did they?
recently, I guess. So yeah. And our third story, and I wish I had the stats. I was just trying to look on my laptop here while I was bringing that up. But Nairo Quintana set a new record up Mount Ventoux in the just recent.
Now
Tour de
that did not
Provence.
go all the way up to the summit. That was
It did not.
no, it was 3/4 up because of it is wintertime.
Yeah.
And they're worried about the winds and the snow, but actually it would have been fine that day. But yeah,
So, okay, wait a minute. So everybody's making a big deal out of this record-breaking thing, and all of a sudden you're telling
it
me
was up to because I'm sure there's segments or whatever records to that where they finish that race. There is a time, there's a time segment there, but it wasn't to the summit of
But the
Mont Ventoux.
the Marco Pantani time that he beat is, but Marco was going further in the race anyway.
Yeah, so he
Fucking fuck. So it's all bullshit.
but he got there first. He got there sooner than Marco Pantani.
But that doesn't matter. He was finishing.
Yeah, I know. I don't understand, but
That's like
yeah.
saying I beat you to the base of the climb, and then
Isn't that how journalism works? So you can create a little excitement, just
God
like you did.
damn it. I use that. I'm spreading fake news.
But if you watch that race, and I think it's on, it's GCN Racing,
Okay.
and I'm sure you can go back in the archives. But when he attacks, I mean, when you got Warren Barguil in the French national jersey, like he leads out, and he's the second to last guy to go off. He buries himself to the point where when he pulls off, he stops pedaling. He he's
gone.
back. Yeah, and it was so fast. And then when finally the last guy pulled through for Quintana just launched, and Sepp Kuss could barely stay with him. Got a little gap. There was a gap, and I could see him like look back like this. There's no way I'm not going to stay with him. And he
Just
waited
didn't
for
even
it. Yeah,
bother.
it blew whoever's left all over the map. And Quintana never stopped. He just kept increasing his speed. It was impressive.
Wow.
That was really impressive. But it's February. So
It is, and I won't pick him for the tour because because if I do, he's going to lose. I would love to see these guys completely reinvigorated,
Sure.
and brought back to something.
What-
And it sounds like this, Quintana's move to Arkea Samsic has just been a complete rebirth. It's and he sounds like he's enjoying it again. I don't know.
Yeah.
The guy he's so stone faced, and I've never seen an interview with him, so I don't know what his persona is like. But he doesn't seem like a very invigorating kind of a guy. But
yeah, I don't think he was too happy at Movistar. I mean,
Yeah.
he didn't associate with any of his teammates. I think
some
it's
of
always
them were,
interesting. Yeah.
some of them were fucked up tactics I've ever seen.
Yeah, and I think there was the infighting and stuff. And,
Yeah.
and Movistar's obviously changed their the way they do things, and they have a different roster.
Yeah.
a young American in there too.
Yeah, and you're reading ahead.
Sorry.
Okay, here's one thing I want to talk to you, and this had me thinking, and it was we busted your balls last week on the show when you admitted that you shower with your iPad to watch bike races. Most people shower with their iPad to.
Well, that's not the only place I watch bike races.
Yeah, no,
it's just
yeah.
I start upstairs.
Honey, I'm
and
going
I take
to
it
watch.
down. I'm going to shower,
Yeah.
and then yeah.
So,
Nothing wrong with that.
I honestly, after discovering that and things like that, I'm honestly considering you one of our more a true bike racing junkie. And
Because I watch races in the shower and go and poo.
Yeah. Those are two
classifies it.
good ways. Yeah. I love that you admitted the going poop part on our show here today. So I kind of want to, and I talked to you on rides about a lot of this kind of stuff, and and we were talking about the YouTube channel of those guys in NorCal. Is it NorCal or SoCal?
NorCal.
And about them, and I had not heard of them, and you send me a lot of this stuff constantly, and I'm going, okay, this guy knows his shit. So here we want to kind of tap into your resources. You watch a lot of old races as well as current ones, correct? Yeah. Which ones are your kind of go-tos when the older ones is what I guess I'm genuinely, and why do you watch the old ones? What is it about them that makes it so?
So I searched the web for any footage that of course before '84, before I saw Paris-Roubaix. Sometimes it's in Flemish or in French or something, but it's just I like to see their tactics and what went on and who was in control and. Especially because most of those situations I either read or heard about from somebody else telling a story. You know. And so the older ones are kind of interesting because racing was completely different than it is now. It is you had one guy, like Merckx.
Yeah.
And he had his henchmen, and that's just how things are done. One of the things I noticed too, like in the Tour. That teams ride now together. So you'll see a bunch of pink EFs guys and then Ineos in the pack. When you get a helicopter, you look at
color specific.
They're together, and I'm thinking that's strange, because even at our level and even back in the day, it was early in the race. It was just kind of laid back.
Yeah,
there was. People are exchanging recipes and, who are you dating?
Where the hell's so
that type of thing.
Yeah.
But, now there's a game plan from this. It has really, really become kind of very strategic from the get-go. There's a plan, and they try and stick with it. So I find it fascinating. There's one Paris-Roubaix I have to watch. I'll watch it 4 or 5 times a year.
Really?
It's the CBS one of 1988, Paris-Roubaix, where Dirk de Mol. Yeah.
And
Thomas Wegmüller. Wegmüller's.
Shit, I can't believe he got the bag in his
derailleur. So.
And every time you watch it, it's like Titanic. It's like, you can both fit on that thing. But you're watching it going, don't hit the iceberg. Don't hit the iceberg. You're watching, stay away from that bag. Stay away from it. No, and he always hits it. Yeah.
And I'm just going to put a little sidebar.
Yeah.
When Dave and I went back, and we were on the Carrefour de l'Arbre, we're watching the on Thursday they do a recon. Most of the teams do a recon, and we at the end of the Carrefour, we're walking, and the Devil's there. The guy dressed as the devil.
Yeah, I hear
Dave got a picture of him.
Like
no, he's different now. He's different. That was back then. No, he's learned to bathe. But on the tour, see the thing on the tour, he lives in his car.
Okay.
So he's all probably, at the Paris-Roubaix, he's got a hotel or whatever. Just drove over
cold
in a day.
And not sweaty.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But anyway, we get to the end of the Carrefour, walking back to the car and heading back to our hotel. I see the Trek bus, team bus is right there, right at the exit of that. And Dirk de Mol comes out, and Dave goes, "Hey, it's Dirk." And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "What are you doing?" I'm going, "I'm looking for a plastic bag to see if he could sign it." And then and Dave goes, "That would have been awesome." And Dave went up and shook his hand, just said like, "Hey, Dirk."
But Wegmüller got the bag, right?
Yeah. But Dirk
Dermal,
DeMall,
in essence,
yeah.
won because of the
so,
bag.
So, he signed the
Oh,
bag. I'm
shit.
trying to get it. That will, if I see him, I'll see if he can do it. Because this is the cool thing about cycling. The coolest thing is, like sitting here talking to you,
Yeah.
it's so accessible as a sport. It's amazing. Where Peter Sagan, I'm sitting there, and he rides right past you. You can't get any sport that gets any closer to that.
Yeah.
There isn't. This sport doesn't have a stadium. It is roads that we're going to be riding on roads that hundreds of years have been racing on.
Yeah.
You can't.
Yeah.
You can't go if you're a baseball fan. You can't go into Yankee Stadium or Dodger Stadium and go, hey, you guys want to do a pickup game? Or you can't go, to all these arenas, basketball, NBA stadiums, and you just can't do that. But here, the sport it's freaking cool. It is really cool. And so now we have it's such rich in history.
So you're watching some of these old ones, okay? And are there? First of all, is it just a regular random YouTube search, or is it what brings it to you?
I go through periods where, like, I'll probably I get a funk after the Spring Classics. It's kind of like, oh crap, and you have the Ardennes, and I'll watch those, and it's kind of fun, but it doesn't have the same for me. So then I'm getting ready for the Giro, so I'll like watch back years of the Giro.
Evgeny Berzin or something like
that. Whatever I can grab. And I'll try. I do it chronologically. I try and start because I watch a lot of it in the shower and going poo. And so I mean, that's just getting used to it. Then, like the Gavia, I start, you see it over and over again. If they're doing that same mountain, then, that the year that I'm watching this, let's say like this year, if I watch one that's going over one of the mountain passes, then I'll go, oh, they have this right turn. And, as if I'm studying it. I don't know. I know it's dumb, but it entertains me.
You just want to see that stage in particular.
I'm going to see how somebody approaches because it's going to turn to the left and hit an 18% pitch. And what are the teams, setting up for this? What's going on?
Yeah.
I mean, that's
really?
how.
Okay.
There's a difference between watching a race, somebody said, and seeing a race. So you watch a race, you sit there and just like, it can be very boring. But if you see a race and you start looking at, okay, this guy and this guy and this guy's up the break.
Shit.
What's going on? What's the parkour of that?
Yeah.
And then you see what the teams are doing. Oh, well, all right.
Sling Studio is really starting to piss me off because they claim they can do all this shit, but they're not very good at it. So, and I just need a producer to work here in the background while I'm doing all this shit. But
when does your son graduate?
Yeah, I know. He's got to get his ass back here. You say you watch some GCN.
Yep.
Which ones and why, and what are your thoughts on GCN?
There only was one channel, and then they got some new presenters, and some of their topics are, I don't know, pretty simple and silly. And the GCN show.
You mentioned it was kind of a Top Gear.
Yeah, they try and do some Top Gear stuff, like challenges and. That's all right. It probably entertains some people. That's not what I'm after. And they split off, and they did a tech channel.
Yeah. And a mountain channel.
Yeah, mountain. They have Tri. Yeah. They have, so they even have an e-bike channel.
No.
Yeah, it's a mountain e-bike type
Jackson
thing,
watches the shit out of it.
Does he?
Yeah.
All of them?
Oh.
Hi.
Yeah, Jackson watches the shit out of it. He loves all of it. And
the ones for me is like, I watch the GCN show, which is every Tuesday, and then GCN Racing. So they do the broadcast. So they get the live feed. I think you tried to do it with Spoke Radio, do a little announcing. Didn't you in the early days get like...
Oh, live event?
Live event. You were typing in on Spoke Radio like what was happening in the race? Oh.
No.
I'm thinking of another Pat.
I never did any of that stuff. No, what we did with Spoke Radio was we did updates immediately after the stage.
Oh, that might be it.
Frankie Andreo back in the day would be over there at the tour, and he would call immediately, and we'd do a post-stage kind of a wrap-up, super short segment, maybe 90 seconds, 2 minutes.
I think he
tops.
has his own podcast now.
Frankie does?
Yeah. Jerk.
No, I wish him all the best, man.
Kidding.
No, and Frankie and I had some good times together, and there was a company that was supposed to pay me a lot of money, but they never fucking paid me. Frankie Jackie, I hope you got that money, buddy.
Yeah.
I really
Yeah.
do. Do you subscribe to any magazines?
I just subscribed to Rular.
You did?
Yeah.
I'm thinking of not Peloton. Fuck, what's the name of it? Oh, I can't remember the name of the one.
There's another big glossy one. Yeah, it's Peloton.
Roller. You're doing that one?
Yeah, the British one.
I'm thinking of doing one.
Yeah.
I miss it. I miss having it. You're talking of taking a poo.
Yeah.
I miss having my magazines
Yeah.
in the bathroom, and I miss kind of looking over those things.
Well, Rular, for me, is they get in depth, like in the classics. They have a classic one, and you can buy back issues. And I saw one, and of course it's about the classics, and it has the Kapelmuir on there. And
yeah.
So, but I subscribed. It's expensive.
Yeah, they're not.
And they don't come out every month either, but they're good in-depth articles. And stuff.
I do miss that. I miss big chunks of that. I've got stacks around here. There's Velo News back behind you. There's Cycle Sports. There's Winnings over there, and I loved having that. And I'm thinking, why am I not doing this? Here I'm. We're this big loss of print journalism disappearing. And it's like, what's the big deal? Just grab one here. They subscribe to one over there and just kind of see what's going on. I think it'd be cool. And by the way, I'm throwing all this out to listeners because I'm curious about this. Tell me if you subscribe to any, what you do, what your shows are, what your podcasts are, and how we all get our information. I don't know why it fascinates me. Any other kind of YouTube content that you watch, especially, are there any educational things like how to, or what am I?
No, I'm not. I think I'm just too old and crusty. I don't want anybody to teach me anything.
Yeah. See, because I would like, there are certain elements of maintenance that I have yet to conquer, and one of them is disc brakes.
Yeah.
Draining disc brakes on my mountain bike, on my gravel bikes, and I want to learn how to do that properly.
I've done that a couple of times where I on my SRAM, I wanted to dial in my front derailleur that I never used, but I wanted to make sure if I ever did use it, that it would perform.
If you ever did use it, But can a little chain ring, rust away while still on the crank?
Well, I forgot. They kind of seized up a little bit, and I had to kick it to get it to drop. No, so I used that and GCN in the early days with Simon and Matt and Daniel Lloyd. They have some good ones. Matt, who's with Sigma Sports.
His cafe
rides?
I don't watch
Sigma Sports. Yeah.
I'm walking away from my microphone
to get a beer.
So
No, he does with Sigma Sports. He's tied in with them, and he does a cafe ride, and he had.
They look really fun.
Yeah, they are. They're actually pretty good. There was, what was the latest one? He was with Cavendish. He got an interview with Cavendish. How come you can't?
Well, probably because I bashed him for too many years, and Cav's probably just mumbled to himself, "Fuck that guy," and I don't blame him.
And then your son bashed him after you were trying to.
Did my son bash him?
Yeah, he bashed him once. And he said, "Hey, yeah."
Thanks, Jackson.
Yeah.
No, and I think the guy's funny. I am gonna say that it, and I'm not bandwagoning. I'm not trying to make it all about me, but I did honestly have an idea that how cool it would be to do a podcast with riders on a ride.
Yeah.
And I always thought about this. I started this shit in 1999, so that's really pitiful if you stop and think about it, because
you're still not making money.
No, I'm still not. But I thought about all these kind of things, and I was thinking about the technology at the time, which was you can't really put a mic on somebody's face while you're on a bike ride.
Yeah.
And how could we do it? How could I record? I'd have to have the rider with a recorder and me with a recorder and splice it all together
with a cord between you.
Yeah, no, yeah, exactly. But technology has now, we've gotten to the point where these recorders are so small,
Sure.
and you can run a wire up to somebody and put a mic on them, and I think it'd be really cool. And then they do it.
Yep.
Somebody else does it.
Yep.
So I don't get any credit.
Yeah.
I do watch some other stuff on YouTube, which I have learned from my young son, who has he's shown me a lot of stuff on YouTube, and I never spent a lot of time on YouTube. And here we are, and I was just struggling with getting the YouTube feed back up. Sorry for the delay there, if any of you missed out, but it looks like you're all back here. So I never spend much time there, but then I find like these EF First with Rafa did this series.
Oh, there's
of
some
stuff.
good stuff there.
And
Yeah.
it's just Jackson's much bigger into gravel than anything else right now, and sitting with him and watching stuff on the Belgian Waffle Ride, who did a great segment on their whole race, watching Lachlan Morton's rides that he does. We watch stuff specifically from Bomb Track, the people who we bought our gravel bikes, and it's great shit.
Yeah, it is, absolutely.
It's a lot of stuff out there. And I not to sound cheesy, but wow, what a cool time we're living in that you can access all this stuff. So I think it's fun. So any other social media accounts you tend to lean on?
No, I
or
don't have
follow?
any Twitter. I don't.
You don't?
No, I don't. Yeah, it's just too much. Yeah, it cuts into my shower and time.
You can't. Your camera might come on.
That's right.
Last thing.
Damn
you
it! Oh
need,
man.
Last thing you need is your junk
Black
all over
out
the
again.
internet.
Yeah. Not much to see, folks.
So I.
Don't look behind the towel.
Yeah. I do follow a lot, and I'm getting to that point where I'm going to be the old man. Probably think about telling Facebook to go to hell, but that's a completely different topic. So, anyway, so I just wanted to pick your brain about that.
Yeah, I actually subscribe to, real briefly here, probably about 6 YouTube channels.
Really?
And they're all cycling race related. Yeah. Oh no, I got one. One's beer related.
Really?
Yeah.
What's the beer?
Pint size. This is British guy. He hasn't done one for a while, but he's pretty funny.
Really?
I think at first I thought he's a little obnoxious college dude, but he drinks all these beers, and I like British humor. And he's like he burps in the mic, and he's like, oh, and he talks about the taste, and it's kind of entertaining. And they're usually about 4 minutes, so
he's probably got
that's good. Worth
100,000 followers or something like 40-minute pee. 4 minute pee. 4 minute.
Yeah,
pee.
4 minute pee.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, and there was another thing I wanted to, and this is in lieu of our Packfiller trivia tonight, because we're it's just two of us. So it's like you'd win again.
Yeah.
And so and we were talking about this about American cycling. What's the state of American cycling? We're always chatting about that, talking about races going away, talking about all this kind of stuff. And I thought, what's the state of American cycling in the pro peloton? And here we are. Yes, we do focus on gravel and road and mountain and all that kind of stuff, but the road world tour is a big deal. And sorry to our females. I want to talk about the men in the world tour. Women, it's. I will, and I will talk about that. I've been talking about bringing on Marie Rook, who's going to come back on the show.
Oh, good.
She and I were scheduled to have a show this week, but we're going to probably do it in another week. She was camping, so she was camping today, and I figured camping means bad cell service. So that
because we experienced that with Karsten.
With Karsten, but that's just because he's an asshole. But I wanted to kind of touch base on who the Americans are in the world tour. And I want to make it part of a kind of a game.
Okay.
So we gotta put our necks on the line here. So what we're gonna do is I have the list of all the men in the 2020 World Tour. What teams they're riding for, current age, their UCI
U.S. riders, right?
Yes, U.S. American riders, UCI world ranking, and just maybe some information on them in regards to where they are and things like that. I have also, from our friends at Pro Cycling Stats. Jesus, if you haven't seen that site.
That's a great site.
Holy shit, what a database. And so I do have some of their information up here, and we will we'll maybe use them to help us out a little bit as we go along. And what I'd like to do is kind of get, what we're going to do is we're going to decide if their next year is going to be better, the same, worse, amazing, or the end. So we got to categorize if each of these guys' riders have that. But before I get to that, I remembered to do our sponsor mentions. This we got a sponsor. We got sponsors, friends from our boy. I just fucked up the intro to that. From Gooder and Scratch Labs. Gooder, by the way, if you haven't checked out Gooder, yes, Paul's holding up Scratch Labs right now. All that fun stuff is here. Gooder has the best names of products, in my opinion, ever sold. No, you guys really check out gooder.com. I'm on the list right now. There's a pair called Whiskey Shots with Satan. There is. There's a pair called What's Snackin' Crackin'. There's a pair called Green Jacket Mafia. There's a pair called Walruses of the Desert. I'm scrolling just randomly. Brunch is the new black. I don't know what that means. My favorite, Lance's Afternoon Uppers.
I got that pair.
I do too. Shaved legs grows beard. That's another pair.
Wow.
I wore my coffee shop seat sweats yesterday.
Oh, yeah, I noticed
On the
those. Those
ride.
are pretty nice.
Yeah, well, I thought they matched the kit.
Yeah,
And
they
that's
did.
what I was striving
Yeah.
for. So that's what I was striving for. So check out gooder.com, you guys. $35 is the most expensive pair of glasses on the website. And they're polarized, and they're light, and they're non-slip, and they're badass. Big thank you to also Scratch Labs, our friends at Scratch. It is still cold, and I do have a thermos here
wow.
with a sample that I do want you to take a little sip and try, because I just had it this afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
This is the hot spiced cider, Scratch Labs.
Uh-huh.
And I want your blind taste test, even though you just had a Belgian beer and that glass, you got to just squeeze it. It's a Stanley leg.
This
yeah.
is like childproof.
Yeah. Hopefully it's not too hot, or hopefully it is still hot. Paul's just took a
Still
swig.
hot.
Yeah.
Lots of good cinnamon. Not
Yeah.
that sweet cinnamon,
Okay.
but it's that, when you put that's good.
See?
Yeah.
I just
the apple is at the front and then finish. I know I sound like a snob.
no, that's good, because that's why I actually wanted you to try it, because I was going, okay, I got to have Paul taste this because he's going to describe it so much better than me.
And
going,
you've had coffee in this too.
yeah, I have
Yeah.
had coffee
Yeah,
in that.
just
Yeah,
got
that's. I was going to figure you probably had a coffee flavor behind it,
Yeah.
but
But yeah, the cinnamon pokes through. It's good.
yeah,
That is good.
I should have done it yesterday when I was
Mhm.
cold and came home from the ride, but it's all the good stuff in Scratch. Plus, it's got that nice hot apple cider taste to it. So big thanks to Scratch for being a part of the show. And those were my advertisings for the podcast. So let's get to ranking if their year is going to be better, same, worse, amazing, or the end. So let me bring up Pro Cycling Stats on my
Okay.
laptop, because I don't want to have to miss any potential data here. So I went through all the riders in the Pro Tour, all the teams in the Pro Tour, and I brought down in specific, actually, I guess it's alphabetical order because it's by team, the Americans that are currently going to be riding for those teams. First on the list, and we're going to decide how they're going, how it's going to be, and if it's the end. And I hope we're not going to see the end. But no, Astana.
You got REM music queued
It's
up.
no, I know shit. I gotta get more sound cues. But okay, our first is AG2R, AG2R if you're a Yank, and 29 years old, currently ranked 426th in the UCI. Oh, he dropped a point since I took the data down.
Wow.
He's 427th. Is Larry Warbass.
Mm-hmm.
Larry just recently placed 17th in the Trofeo Laguiglia, I think it is, Italian race. So he's not starting off too terribly. That was February 16th. Larry's been pretty prominent for AG2R. I at age 29, I don't know, what do you got, any ideas, thoughts?
Well, I mean, his big push was, remember the Aqua Blue team that blew up mid-season, and
Yeah.
he did that the No Tour with
Yeah.
his buddy. His position is on the team is a workhorse.
Yeah.
And I heard an interview with him on another podcast, but he was talking about how he just really settled in. That the French was always a hard thing to do, but this team really, he seems to be really enjoying himself. So, on ranking, I think he'll be about the same.
Yeah.
I think because of his duties that he has,
Yeah.
for sure.
I was gonna pick same,
Mm-hmm.
which is not bad.
No, not at all.
His last big win was a stage in the Tour of Switzerland in 2017.
And I think that's the year he was a national champion too.
Yeah, and he's riding well now.
Yeah.
So I mean, start off with that, a 17th. It's not great,
Yeah.
but it's not bad. He did not finish the Tour Down Under. So the Larry Warbass, two riders for CCC. Will Barta. Will is 24 years old. He got 16th in the Tour de Provence, and he won the youth classification. 24 years old. Currently sitting 1079 in the UCI. Any thought on Will Barta?
He'll move up a little bit.
I agree. To see youth classification in Tour de Provence, I don't know what that race was. I didn't pay any attention. I didn't watch it online, so I don't know. Was there other than Quintana?
It was like it's a short little, and this is a race that's only 5 years old, I believe.
Yeah.
So it's kind of set up to where there's some sprint stages and some mediocre, kind of like a 5-day version of the tour, and then finish. Well, the Saturday was the big, grandiose up Mont Ventoux.
Yeah.
And then they had kind of a semi-rolling circuit. I think it was a circuit race on the final day. So I think that's pretty impressive. 24 years old.
He's a kid, yeah.
Who did he race for last year?
He rode last 2 seasons with CCC. He was with Hagens Berman before that.
So you're going to see Hagens Berman on these young kids, almost every single kid.
Yeah.
Axel Merckx has done a wonderful job of getting these guys prepped. Yeah.
The kid looks like, and I'm saying kid because he is 24. Liège 4th in the U23 Liège, Bastogne Liège.
That's
in
impressive.
2017. They're saying he tends to be more of a TT guy, but I think there's going to be more from CCC because they have a chance to actually fill a roster a little bit more rather than, no offense to the guys last year, just kind of what's leftovers.
Yep.
So I think it'd be cool to see from him. I think he'll improve. Joey Roscoff, CCC, 30 years old, 637th ranked in the UCI. He won the mountains classification at the Tour Down Under. Let's see, 30 years old. That's reaching. Yeah. That's getting up there.
I think he's going to be about the same.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I think this was a great start. Jesus Christ, to take the mountains classification.
That is a UCI point race, so that probably jacked him up a little bit.
It is. Yeah. He's sitting 635 now. So, yeah. Oh, he dropped 2 since I did my stats work this morning. All right. So, you think better?
I think about the same. He'll be the same as last year.
And at any point, if there are any of these guys you're like going, this guy's going to win a fucking monument or something like that, let me know. But
there'll be one. I know.
There will.
Waiting. Yeah.
Deceuninck Quick Step actually has one. They have Ian Garrison, 21 years old, currently sitting 439th ranked. He won the national championship time trial in last year. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. He was 6th in the mountains classification Tour de Provence.
Yeah. And he was he's battling in there. I think he's going to do obviously better. This is his first year, like you said, in the World Tour.
What a team! Yeah. 20. Last year he was Hagens Berman.
Yeah. So he's going to go up.
Jesus.
Since he was, So it'll be interesting. I don't know too much about him. If he's obviously can climb.
Yeah.
And they have a young group in the Provence, too. I don't know where he ranked there.
Yeah.
Finish.
Tour de Provence.
He was
6th in the mountains. Oh, I don't have him. What he had in the mountains. I mean, in the
young.
overall. Let me see if I could bring him up here. I backed out of his page. He was 63rd GC.
Yeah. Saved it for the mountains then.
Yeah, exactly. Next is a big slew of riders from Education First, EF Education First. First of all, you have to mention TJ Van Garderen, 31 years old, sitting 132nd overall in the UCI.
Yeah, I think about the same. I've always pulled for him since he was HTC. But, it is what it is. I know that Alan Lim has been working with him. Last year was the first time, and he seemed pretty relaxed. He did fairly well. He's just a guy that has some bad luck too.
Yeah.
But I think it'll be about the same.
I think he's really good at those Paris-Nice.
Yeah,
races.
1 week.
Yeah. So you think he'll be the same?
Yep.
31. God, I can't believe 31 is getting up there.
I know.
That's really scares the shit out of me. Nielsen Paulus, 23 years old, sitting 202nd overall in the UCI classification. Sun Tour, he was 13th in the mountain classification, 4th GC. That's not bad.
Mhm.
The Herald Sun Tour. Cadell Evans Road Race, 37th. Nothing big like that. I think EF is in for a good season.
I do too. I think Jonathan Vaughters said that they will win a Tour de France in 10 years.
Yeah.
So, well, he's got some young bloods.
Yeah.
So,
speaking of which, Logan Owen, Education First, 24 years old.
hey, you interviewed him.
I did. He
Yes,
was on,
yes.
look that show up, folks. Sprinter. I think he's going to get better. I think he's a
think so,
great
too.
team rider. He's been doing a lot of teamwork.
Yep.
I don't know if he's going to be one of the top sprinters in the world, but I'd love to see him do something bigger. Alex Howes, current Stars and Stripes, Captain America. Alex is 32 years old, 639th in the World Tour rankings. I mean, in the UCI rankings. Thoughts
He'll
on
stay the
that?
same.
You think so?
Yeah. Yeah.
Consistent.
Yeah, consistent. I think when guys are getting in their 30s, they're starting to pass the torch to the younger guys, unless they're, a Froome or, somebody is
Going for one last big.
Yeah.
Lawson Craddock, 27th, 27 years old, 319th. Lawson is more, and I don't mean this to sound bad, but great rider, but most recently known for his suffering in the Tour that he
Well,
did.
he can suffer. Yeah.
Jesus
He's got
Christ.
that going for him.
I think he's going to have a better year this year,
Yeah, I think so.
and I hope he does. So he's an improvement.
Mm-hmm.
Sean Bennett, last of our Education First riders, 23 years old, was 18th in the mountains in the Tour de Provence. I don't know if that's going to give us anything. I don't know Sean Bennett.
Yeah,
23.
I read something about him. I thought it was pretty impressive.
Looks like he's
What
got
did he
some
do at the
sprint-
World Championships?
He World Championships this last year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have anything yet. What I do have is in 2018, he was 42nd in the under 23 Worlds, but that doesn't help. Okay, World Championships 2019. Let's see if it brings up there. He was 12th in the U.S. National Championships. He was 6th in the TT.
Oh, he's got some TT.
He's got some
ability.
TT prowess. Yeah. No, I'm not seeing anything on Worlds.
Yeah.
On the World Road Race Championships, unfortunately. He's got some sprint wins. Yeah. So I don't know. I wish I could make a call on him. I don't know him well
I can't
enough.
either. So therefore, you have to say the
Better.
same.
Or
better.
okay, better.
Yeah,
Yeah,
better.
they're the same.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's crank through. Israel Startups rider Travis McCabe in his first year in the World
He's
Tour.
what, 30?
He is 30.
Yeah.
13th in the points at the Tour of Columbia, and he's been kind of mixing it up
Yeah.
with some of those guys out there.
Yeah. So he was with. Was it Raleigh?
He
No, where was he last year?
Let me bring him up. McCabe, 30 years old. He was with Floyd's.
Floyd's. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Mm-hmm.
That's a big jump.
Yeah, it's
No
huge.
offense to Floyd.
So I
That's a
say
big jump.
he's going to get more UCI points.
Yeah. Good call. I
Yeah.
think that he's going to be like they say, he's already mixing it up with there, and with Greipel out for a spell might help him out a little bit.
Yep.
So that could be really interesting. He might be one of their go-to guys. That I hope it's a better year. Mitchelton Scott's own Brent Bookwalter is 36 years
Yeah,
young.
he's long in the tooth. He's just. I think he's the road captain.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll be the same. He'll be the same.
He'll be
Good. He was a
consistent.
good. Yeah, he was national champion.
Yeah.
So
TT
TT guy.
Movistar rider. I didn't know. I'm going to be
Jorgensen.
honest. I don't
Yeah.
know a lot of these guys. Yeah, Jorgensen, Matteo Jorgensen. He's 20 years old.
Yeah.
Jesus, that's a young pup. And let me bring him up so I can see where he rode last year. I don't know if he was with Movistar.
I think he was with Axel.
Really? Another of the many Elemental PQRSJ. There it is. He rode for Movistar. He's on a 2-year contract with Movistar. He rode for AG Dozere.
Oh wow.
Yeah. In 2019. And before that, he's Jelly Belly.
Jelly Belly. That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus. He's got some consistency. I think he can go nowhere but up.
Yeah.
I like to
I
see
think
him
he'll
go
go
up.
up.
Not saying he's
And
bad.
he did well. He did well. What was that race he just did? Was
Well, I gotta
Provence
bring the page back
or
up.
the
Tour of Columbia.
Tour of Columbia.
Looked like he
yeah.
had a pretty good Tour of Columbia. 13th Mountain, 95th GC, but
Yeah. You know he's working for someone then.
yeah, but he looks like he got points across the board all through that.
Yep.
NTT, formerly Dimension Data. Ben King is 30 years old. Believe it or not, Ben King is getting old, and I can't believe that because Ben King he's always been there. But I love the guy, man, especially when he won those 2 stages in the Vuelta.
Yeah. Giving a high five to other people in the crowd.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool. Yep.
Better, worse.
Same.
Mm-hmm. You think he's going to have some other good stuff?
I think he's got a little stuff in the still to go.
A little shaking his chunk.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. 25 years old, Jumbo-Visma, Sepkus.
Nothing but up.
I agree
100%.
1,000%. That guy's going to fly. I think that team's going to fly.
Yeah.
I think we're going to see a lot of really impressive shit out of that team.
What was it? Was it the Tour of Colorado before they dumped the men's?
Oh, yeah.
He won like 3-4 states. I mean, the kid can climb. He's tiny.
Yeah.
And, he's got obviously under the shadow of
a lot of guys on that team. Yeah.
Roglic and Dumoulin and yeah. So he'll be doing a lot of work, but that kid's something else.
8th GC in the Tour de Provence. That's just, obviously the warm up. But the guy's been with that team since 2018. So he was a rally before that. So God, I think the kid's gonna fly. I hope he's gonna have a really good year. Sunweb's own Chad Haga.
Getting along.
If I pronounce this,
he's a good TT guy.
Chad's 31. He won a stage in the Giro last year. TT
in the time
stage.
trial.
And he's a funny Twitter account. If you guys aren't following.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's funny. So he does short reviews of races, just like a guy got on his bike and fell off the end or something like that. And when he won his stage, his tweets were hilarious. So same. You think same?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. He's got an obligation. When you hit 30, I think, and you're not a prolific winner, you've earned, you've developed this personality or your status of what you do on the team, and it's hard to. You'll get the occasional win, a bone thrown to you, I think. So,
all right, we got 2 U.S. riders for Trek Segafredo, our other American team in the Pro Peloton. And you can't talk about it unless you talk about the fact that they have an 18-year-old kid on
this
the
kid
team.
will win the first monument for the United States.
You think so?
Yeah.
He's going to win the first
Quinn Simmons,
classic.
yeah.
Quinn Simmons.
Yep.
Okay, we just heard it there.
Yeah.
In his 18th year of life, 19th year of life?
He's. I think he's doing both Flanders and Roubaix.
He's on for Het Nieuwsblad. He's on for Kern. He's on for Strada Bianca. He's on for the Big Bank. He's on for Gent-Wevelgem. Sorry. He's for Flanders and Roubaix.
Oh, sweet.
Jesus,
he's doing
this kid's got a scalp.
Yeah. Well, you remember what he did even at Leadville?
He
just slaughtered. I mean, the kid can push numbers and stuff. And he can grow a beard better than I can at 57. At age 18, he can. Jesus.
All right, you heard it there first. Paul Main said he's going to win a monument.
Yeah. Yep.
God, I hope
Pride
that
and joy.
happens.
He's been racing over there on that border town in the Netherlands, right next to Belgium, doing all these races. And he won the amateur Gent-Wevelgem last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's also a Facebook friend. I should try to get him on the show.
Oh yeah, that would be great. That would be.
But
great.
the problem is he's too goddamn busy actually being a bike racer.
Yeah.
33 years old also for Trek Segafredo. And I'm going to destroy his name probably. Kiel Reinen. I think that's how you pronounce his name. Been with Trek since 2016. He was United Healthcare before that. I guess we could talk about age because we're old. 33 years old. That's getting towards the end, isn't it?
Yeah.
Unless
He'll be the same. He's got his
Zoetemelk.
place. Yeah, Jupe Zoetemelk.
Yeah. So you think the same?
Yeah, he'll do the same. Yep.
All right, we're getting down there, guys. We have 2 more riders left in the Pro Peloton that are of the American status. That are guys. Yes, I'm going to be specific.
Our guys.
That are men. They're not women because I know you guys are going to call me out on that and say a lot of stuff about Chloe and stuff like that. Chloe's going to crush. I think she's going to have another great year. 2 for UAE. Brandon McNulty is 21 years old.
Mm-hmm.
He has ridden with, he's got a 3-year contract with UAE. He rode for Rally last year. And let's see here. Vuelta San Juan, not a huge race, but 4th overall, 2nd in the youth, and 5th in the mountains. Shit.
Look at the names that were in, ahead of him in
Ahead of
San
that
Juan.
race.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so he was right there.
Really?
That's Remco.
Oh, Evenepoel.
Yeah,
Yeah, shit. So, okay, this kid's got something.
Yeah.
So, better year, you're thinking.
Yeah. Yep.
Shit.
Especially because now he's on the World Tour.
Big team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He gets nowhere to butt up.
And finally, rounding out our male riders in the World Tour, Joe Dombrowski. Joe is 28. I thought Joe was older than that. I don't know why. He was EF first 2019.
Don't go too far down.
Canada. Oh, he's 2014 Sky. Is that where I'm going too far down?
No, I thought he was part of the Livestrong.
He was Bontrager Livestrong in 2012.
Yeah.
And Trek Livestrong before that.
Yeah.
And oh, wow, Jesus, this kid's been at it for a while, but he's not that old. He's 28, so he's got a few more years. Better, worse?
I think he's a scrawny little guy, but I think he's going to do better. I think EF he's on EF, right?
He is
UE.
on a UAE.
Oh, so he I think he left.
United
I think he was.
Arab Emirates.
Yeah.
He was Education First,
Yeah. So he just left.
1918, and that whole held right back all those reincarnations of that team.
So I think he's probably got new team. Everybody on the new team has new life, unless it's Katusha. Then everybody just falls apart.
Yeah, that's just the kiss of death. Yeah, exactly. So looking at these names, looking at this list, Paul, what are our chances of an American winning a big-ass bike race this year? Grand Tour or Classic?
I would say.
Give it a letter grade if you want, like a gold school.
C minus.
I do too.
Yeah.
I don't mean to bash these guys.
No.
These guys are fucking studs.
But my hope is
upcoming.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm looking at the young ones, Quentin all the way up to those guys that are 23 years old.
Yeah.
We're going to see a crop of American riders that'll make us proud. I really do believe that. And there's another group behind them that are still in juniors that didn't get signed at age 18.
Yeah.
That are still coming up.
Yeah.
So we just had a big gap. I mean, like a big, huge fart after Lance's deal. It's like everything
kicked us in the nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Sepp Kuss is probably our best bet at anything related to Grand Tour.
He could do 1 weeker if they let him go. Yeah.
Yeah. And not to bash TJ. I think TJ's got some good bike races in his remaining years up there.
Doubt.
So, and I've always liked him. Like I said, I've always rooted for him. So there we go. Oh my God, I want bike races. What's our first one? We got something coming up here.
For me, it's the 29th of February.
What's that?
Umlaut hits Nieuwsblad.
Yeah. That's it. We could probably say that's
when it begins. Yeah.
And then after that, we've got Strada Bianca and stuff like that, which I can't wait to watch. So,
Milan San Remo.
Oh, we're still too far. This is that dead zone right now.
Yeah.
This is that moment where you need to go back.
The desert stage races and whatever.
I hate those ones. But this is the time of year where you have to find all that old footage.
Yeah.
And start going.
Make that bridge.
I got to watch the 86 Paris-Roubaix on the toilet.
Yeah.
All right. Well, dude, thanks for letting me pick your brain.
You bet.
You're my pro. You're the guy who I go to. No,
not much.
I pretend to know what I'm talking about. I just spend a lot of time in front of a laptop before we do a show. And to all the listeners out there, first of all, thank you for dealing with our internet connectivity. It looks like I've just got some software issues now. It's not the internet, I'm convinced. I'm looking at the live stream right now. It's working. We had it drop out in the middle of the show, but you all seem to be back. So, hi. I just scratched my nose. I wasn't picking.
No nasal penetration.
Yeah, exactly. But let me know. I'd like to know when it came to that question about where you get your information. I don't need to. Yeah, you can tell me about your podcasts because we all listen to them. That's why you're doing this now. If this is the only podcast you're listening to, God help you. So I'd like to. I think that's an interesting discussion point to bring up and what those things are and what you guys listen to. So there we go. I guess I got nothing else. Paul, thanks for being here again.
Thank you.
And we'll be back at it next week. I fucked up the last sentence of the podcast. That's off. That's go. Bye-bye. Go away. Motherfucker. Oh, I gotta hit the stop auto switch. Hi. I'm a pro. I do this all the